And sometimes you change your mind. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And I'm happy that you're here too. So, I'm using those die sets, and I wanted the little pointy finger because I like the little pointy finger, as do probably all of us. And just trying to show how it's die cut. You can die cut whatever color papers you want, but there's a teensy tiny fingernail I should say. It's not a thumbnail, it's a fingernail. And you're looking at the picture so you can get it in the right place. And where is it on your desktop? And there it is. And put a dibby dot of glue. And now you got to put your little fingernail on there. You don't have to do that. Of course, you can just totally skip that part if you want to. Okay. You can also cut it in reverse of the colors and lay one on top of the other. That works just as well. And I'm going to show you partially one more time. Yep. So my initial intentions was to make a greeting card. My hubby's birthday coming. We've already discussed this. Masculine May. Hashtag, if you will. Anyway, it ends up not being a birthday card. It's a journal instead. And since then, I have gone back and printed some photographs from our trip over to Europe before the plague, just before the plague, I might say. Anyway, so it will have some of those photographs in there from that trip. And I chose not to use the pocket watch die because I was making a wrist watch. Okay. And just went with a couple of circle dies. And that's our frame. I didn't try all the numbers on there to see if they would fit. But a lot of watches just have, the four corners there. It could have been a square watch. Why not? Could have been any kind of shape watch I want to make, I tell you what. And I thought I'd try my hand at a shaker. I've done a few shakers before. They're not my forte, but we're giving it a shot because it's kind of cool. So this is just some clear packaging that I cut to the same size circle. It's not the real flimsy packaging. It's the next step up. Not the real thick one either. Put some weight on it. So this here was gonna be my watch band, and it's beautiful, and I loved it. And I end up changing my mind after I kind of get it glued together. You don't necessarily see that part, but I wanted you to see the part. If you want to make a band, you can just make a band out of whatever's. Okay? How cool is that? Anyway, there's a list of ingredients in the description below the video. ... and more to see more. Now this is some foam tape that I trimmed so that it would be very narrow, because it didn't come that way. I had to make it that way. And I went around the outside edge with a black Sharpie marker. And that helped. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it's one of my projects. I expect more from y'all. Just saying. So I'm trying not to get too much fingers on there, and I'm trying to put the release paper back on there. And then I have my gold circle there. That's the background. Inside of the wrist watch, even trimming off some of that little foam tapes because it was sticking out. Oh, sorry, phone. Hello. Anyways, sticking it down. No, I don't make everything all perfectly lined up, Again, me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, looking good. I do go back over some of those white edges with the black Sharpie. I'm real sure I didn't film that because, this video got long. It was filmed over a couple of days because I couldn't quite decide where I was going. And then I thought, well, I wanted to use the pointy fingers on the inside. And then I thought, no, let's point it to 5 o'clock because that's, that's the time you get off work at 5 o'clock. And it's kind of pointing at 5 o'clock. I think you'll get the gist of it. So anyway, just trim it off teeny tiny bit. So now I got that extra little pointy finger somewhere. Anyway, put some Aleene on there. Now I'm going to start gathering up all my little die cut numbers. Oh, I die cut some gears because, and there's the little hands to the watch. And yeah, they're kind of big for this size circle, just saying. But it's okay. It'll be all right. I think I end up putting a little too much in there, but that's okay. We got some hands and some gears and some loose numbers, and they're die cut out of gold cardstock. And I do believe, use scraps. Even when I decided to turn it into a journal cover, the paper I used for that is actually part of a 12 by 12 that was cut down. So technically, it was a scrap as well. Big one, but still a scrap. Okay, so now we're going to glue our crystal. That's the see-through part of a watch, clock, And I'm using diamond glaze because it doesn't clog up like the other stuff. For me, anyway. So, Aleene and everything together. See, there's our band is glued on there, and I the whole time with this whole project, y'all, I kept getting big old globs of semi-solid glue in my bottle, and by the end of this project, I think I got that all worked out. But you will get to see me struggle with the glue bottle quite a bit. I don't know how I got clumpy glue boogers in there, but I did. So now we've got this box. Okay, this is why it turned into a journal from a card. Even at this point, I'm thinking it's going to be a card, but I got this box, and I got this thing going on with the little match boxes. Anyway, we're just going to make this into a matchbox. This black box, I don't know, had a top and a bottom, and I thought, no, I just want to make a matchbox. Okay. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to use some craft color cardstock. We will do some ink stenciling on this at some point. I'm just faux measuring, just holding it up there. I'm like, yeah, that's the closest little notch. That'll do. Line it up. Okay, score, score, score. Okay, fold it. Looking good. It's fitting. Yeah, it's fitting. All right. Making progress. Yep, that one works right there. Just score it on down. Ease on down that score mark. I wasn't sure if I would have enough paper. Well, actually, that's cardstock anyway. Same difference, I reckon. This line I'm scoring, I didn't need to. I could have just marked my pencil mark and trimmed it because that's all I needed to do. Anyway, where's that score mark we're going to cut off? Okay. Then I'm going to get my stencil out. I got to erase those pencil lines. They were in my way. Well, they bothered me, so I erased them. And we're just going to get some coffee colored archival ink and that there handy dandy little stencil, which I think is so fancy. And we're just going to stencil that up with the little makeup brush. And I do recommend when you're using these makeup brushes like this that you hold the head part of the bristles and not on the handle neck part, because those tend to break. Just saying. So here's our glue. Oh, here's our glue globbled up. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was ready to just throw that bottle away, even though I could hear it rattling. You know, not really rattling, but I could hear it sloshing around in there. So I'm like, I don't understand. I picked out so many glue boogers, it wasn't even funny. Well, okay, so maybe it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. So I'm lining it up. I'm going to put some Ellie Mae on there. And I do use my bone folder at some point to squishle all that side down. And this was at the end of the day. And I found this picture photo, Tim Holtz ephemera stuff. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I'm coloring that because it's just a red double-decker, if you know what I mean. So we're just using ohuhu marker, red marker on that. We're going to do this, and then I'll finish up, and I'll just clean up some edges with the water brush there. And I'll leave it out on the desk all night to get all nice and toasty dry. So I'd recently got a new filing cabinet for studio storage stuff, and I was putting stuff away, and I found some treasures that was given to me by Lisa, my eclectic life. Hey Lisa! Thanks again, darling. Turns out serendipity. Perfect papers. Okay, because it was overnight that I decided it was going to be a journal. That's what happened. It was like, no, I don't want to make a card, I'll make a journal. Anyway, found these papers, trimming them up to size for the journal that I've not made yet, but I'm cutting my signatures in advance. I suggest you make your journal cover. Well, it doesn't matter. Do it whatever way you want to. Okay. So I got my little measurements, mostly. Again, my project. I'm like, yeah, we're going to use all those. Going to use every one of them. And I had these receipt things from Lisa as well. Oh, she's so sweet. And she's a good hugger. May I just throw that out there. Anyway, I'm going to use a couple of those. And that's going to be our signature. That's it. Not much. My hubby likes journals. He doesn't necessarily, he does journaling like I do. Not really. But he likes them. Anyway, this is going to have pictures in it. And he'll love that. I already know he will. Don't ask. I gotta try to hide these videos from him until after the fact, okay? Okay. So, anyway, just folding each one in half. They're different heights, but that's okay. Don't no matter. I guess I could have cut that more of that out. Anyway, portions are sped up. Some are more sped up than others, and some not so much. And yeah, got those paper clipped over there. This is going to be our journal cover. Just, don't judge me and my Swiss rolls, okay? They are sure not as big as they used to be, y'all. They like half the size, I think. Anyways, trimming all that out. I could have pre-trimmed it and not wasted video air on it, but I wouldn't be able to whine about it, would I? So with all the changes that Google's been making, I can't help but notice my viewership has gone down a little bit. I don't think they recommend me like they used to, or were. I don't know. I guess we'll just take whatever we can get, because, I appreciate each and every one of you. I do. So that's going to be our journal. And I'm like, oh, it's still just a little tall. Did I measure that wrong? Probably. The use of a ruler. And I was going to cut that edge off, and then I thought, no, I kind of like it. Could be a pocket, right? You know it's a pocket. You knew there was going to be a pocket in here before I did, I'm sure. So I'm just trying to straighten up the edges because, I cut them with the scissors, so they weren't necessarily real straight. They're probably not necessarily real straight now either. Straight enough. I said straight enough, not straighten up. Anyway. So there we go. Yep, I'm like, okay, that'll work. Okay. Now I thought, I need to cover that, I guess. It's around those corners. Use a little small one. That teeny tiny one is so cute. That little teeny tiny rounder. Just saying. It's true. Okay. Fold it in half. Not really putting a spine on it. It's just, because there's not very many papers, and they're all very copyweight thin paper. So it'll be perfect. You'll see. And because I'm going to fold that up, I don't want it too bulky there in the book crack gap. So we're just going to wedge that out. And I think I even wedge them out a little bit more later on. But you probably don't get to see that part. I don't know. Don't remember. It's a long video. We're about halfway. Try to keep my area cleaned up. Cleaned up. Why is that like that? I don't know. Fold it over. Now see, how did that get crooked now? So we're going to trim it. Just smoosh it down a little bit. How's that? I'd say that's pretty perfect. Going to use some Yes paste. I've already pulled out the paper. Did I already pick out the paper? I don't know. Anyway. That card is so sticky. I've got it soaking in water now. The card might even come apart by now. They're plastic key cards, kind of thing. Anyway. Getting our Yes paste all on there. Oh, here's our paper. I'm like, yeah. Perfect. Why did I pick that particular sheet of paper? Because it was kind of laying on top. And I thought, that looks good. I like it. Sometimes I don't think a real lot. Okay. So now we're trimming off some of these corners. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with these because those are going to fold up. Well, we'll just snip those corners off anyway, okay? And we're going to pre-fold over our edges. And I must say, for someone that didn't use a ruler and measure this stuff out, it's spot on perfection. Enough. Seriously. So now we're trimming that out again. I do ink around it, but I don't think I filmed any of that, or not ink in the journal. I think you get to see me inking some ephemera later on. I thought, yeah. Look how perfect that is. Now what? Oh, maybe we'll just take a little bit more off of here. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with that edge down there on the flip up part. Yeah, I don't think I trim any more off of that. Okay, here comes our glue. I think it's come. Oh, not so much. Oh my gosh. Seriously, glue. It is fixed now, though. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we're just smooshing some of that glue around that I took out with the silicone brush there. Just gonna, just brushing that silicone, brushing out of the way. And here we go. And this is a copyweight scrapbook paper. I don't know the brand, y'all. It's old. I've had it for fur. Fur is fuzzy like the dust on my papers. Okay, folding those up. I guess I'm not going to trim those edges anymore on that because I guess I don't think I did. Pretty sure I didn't. Oh, wait, here we are right now. Spoke too soon. Okay, perfect. All right, now put some glue. See, now it's all loosey-goosey on there. I don't know if this is where I got it fixed or if I have one more insert in or two more insert ins. I don't know. Just folding it over. And I set it under weight for a while. You have to wait on it for a while sometimes. Pretty sure. Paper towel, wipe off some of that excess gluage. Okay. I know that looks loose now, don't it? It's like, what's going on with this bottle? Anyway. Look how good the sides all look. It's just like, whoa, that's so professional. So we're going to use our tiny Tatcher stapler to just staple in those few sheets of folio to make one signature. And I got all my little staples in there perfectly centered. It's the best stapling job I think I ever did. Just saying. You want your staples to open on the inside so you don't catch your finger or something on the shelf if you should happen to put this journal on a shelf. Just saying. Look at that. And yes, I did not glue the pockets up yet on purpose because I didn't want them to interfere with me trying to get that stapled in. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to have glue issues. Yes, we did. I think that might have been where I actually got it fixed. I'm not going to stake my life on it though. Just saying. Seems to be working right now. Okay, put some Ellie Mae's on there. Okay. Perfect. One more for good measure, I guess. We're measuring. Trust issues, I reckon. I don't know why. Oh, I also did the ink through the stencil on the inside. I didn't put any additional paper in there because I thought, nope, it's perfect. So, so now I'm like, okay, I need the closure. This is where I'm going to put my watch. I got my gold paper trimmed down for the back side of the watch band. I thought I had pre kind of thunk this out, y'all. Not so much. I made pencil lines so I know where to get my glue going. Could have put it on the back of the band, but no. Forgot about putting that die cut thing out of the black cardstock on there because I could die cut it, but I don't know where I laid it. But it's around my desk somewhere. I'll remember it later. You'll see it again. And making sure I got my up and my down. And we're going to put some clamps on here. And then I come back later on and remove the clamps and put some weight on it because we had to wait on it for a little while. We set that aside. Now I've already cut the band off because I had glued that on there. Y'all didn't need to see that because it wasn't staying anyway. I thought, well, we're going to use a magnet. So we got out my tin caps. Y'all really need to use these kind of things if you're using magnets. And that way you only use one magnet. You don't have to use both of them. Because the magnets stick to this stuff like a magnet. Anyway, I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to sand around it with an emery board, a nail file. It can be sharp, although when you cut it, it's not so sharp. But anyway, just trying to be safety first. Okay, safety comes in cans. You can, I can, we all can. Now, spritz some alcohol on there, wiping it off, because it got kind of icky when I sanded. Now, that well, it don't matter. We just clean it all up anyway. Make your double-sided tape stick good anyways, because, it happens. That's what I'm reaching for right there. And I'm putting on a lot. I like double-sided tape, especially for plastic, like when you're doing windows and stuff sometimes. And for magnets. Okay? We don't want them to get rusty necessarily. Not on accident. So now we're going to put our watch face on there. Gonna burnish it all around the back. Make sure I got it glued it on there pretty good, which I was pretty satisfied with that. I don't remember if I had to come back and trim any of that off. I don't think I did. I don't know. If I did, maybe I filmed it. I don't know. Anyways. So there, see that was the weighting on it on the cover. Okay, that's our band. I'm like, yeah, that's going to cover up the front. See how I have it centered between the red lines? Fancy smancy. And I'm like, now how am I going to put this on there? I thought, well, I'll make like a little hole for the magnet to sit down into so it's not sticking up real far. And the top one can lay over on top of the magnet, which is on the bottom one. This is where I got so mixed up in my head. And I'm like, why don't, that's not big enough. And the other hole punch, circle punch I had was too big. And it's like, oh, so I'm just chewing it out a little bit at a time. And I'm going to bring the scissors over and cut the bottom edge so it almost kind of like slots in there, so to speak, sort of ish. Not really ish, but sort of ish. Really need to think about these closures before you start working on them. Now, granted, I could have taken this apart. It was just staples and, wasn't no big deal. And then the sticker didn't want to come off. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, is that where I want it? I guess that's probably about where I want it, right? That double-sided tape runner on there. It says it's a permanent tape. Wrapping around the excess sticky. Putting it on there. Is that where I want it? Yeah, I'd say that's pretty near about as perfect as it's gonna get. And mind you, I still haven't thought about that die cut part. See, I'm like, well, just go ahead and use that. And I'm like, no, it's just too big. It would not have mattered. Sometimes I can't let stuff go. We've had this discussion before. I'm like, yeah, see, that's going to work. It's working already. Oh, am I trimming? What am I doing? Oh, one of the numbers wasn't quite glued down to my satisfaction. That's what it was. I was really distracting myself from the other thing. Okay, I'm like, well, okay, that's what we're going to do. Okay, yep. Trim that off so it kind of like goes in there but doesn't hang up. I didn't want it hanging up, but I want it to sort of slot in there. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like every project I do, I end up going, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just kind of wing myself through it. More of the double-sided tape. Again, we're going to smoosh around the excess hanging off the edge, and we're going to stick that on there. Pretty much got it. I come back later, but I didn't film it. Actually, I did that today. I went back out there and I put gold marker pen. Oh, that's our box, and that box had a piece of foam in there, and I thought, well, that's just lovely. We're going to keep it. So I double-sided that down. And see, it all fits in there perfectly. It's like made for that box. Here's some of our ephemeras we're going to be using. And this is where I'm like, oh, yeah. Forgot to put that on there. And I'm like, well, we'll just have it wrap around the front. It'll be fine. Nobody will be any wiser to it. So here we go. I'm like, do I really want to glue it on there? And I'm like, yeah, I really do. I really do want that on there. Because it looks so cool. Right? I think it looks so cool. Anyway. That is a die set I picked up on probably one of the Hobby Lobby clearances. Although I'm not going to swear to that fact. I don't know if it's fact. I'm not going to swear to it. Because there's actually two different sets that are very similar, and it, as you can see, it cuts the design from the cardstock. And for me personally, I always find those harder to use. I don't know why. Taking out, it cuts out the positive and leaves you with the negative, and I don't know. All that confuses me. Hard Knocks. That's my school. Hard Knocks. All right. I'm like, yeah. See, that looks good. Okay. Now, when I was putting stuff in my filing cabinet, I was putting my cigar boxes in there, and this one had this label sticking off, and I thought, I love the label, and I know exactly where it's gonna go. It was already tore, so I carefully pulled the label off, both parts of the label off the box. It's a sticker. It's kind of a heavy duty sticker, actually. So I've got that on there so that it looks like it's been torn open, like it was on the cigar box, only it's not a cigar. I don't know what it says. Does it even have any words on there? I don't know. But it would be fun for us to try to recreate something similar. Okay, maybe one day. It's now been added to my list. Just let me say that. When will we get to it? I don't know. Anyway, I think the glue's working okay now. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to be the bottom of the box, okay? And by the bottom of the box, that's going to be where the box slides out of the bottom, okay? Because I had those other bits of ephemera that we're going to ink up any day, any year now. We will ink that. So I'm trying to smoosh everything down. And it's ever so slightly sticky. So I put some cornstarch on there. And then we're going to ink over it anyway. So we pretty much removed the sticking. And these are the other pieces of ephemera. And that one says London Bridge. I printed out a picture of us on London Bridge. And but this one says Railroad. And I cover up the name, or most of the name that says Railroad, with that other little ephemera piece. See, this one gets glued around. It's not torn, but it's not glued to the inside box either, okay? So this one's going to cover up the word railroad, rail, anyway. This one's going to go down there so that it looks like it's supposed to be there too. Not on an accident. It's not overly decorate on the outside of the box, but that's okay. It's like a gift box, right? Okay, here we are inking the inside. And I've inked around the edges, and I've used coffee and black soot. Or was it perhaps scorched timber? Oh, I love that color. I can't wait for that to be in an archival. Anyway. Trying to make sure all those are glued down. And here we are. Flip-flop time. Doesn't that look cool? I think it looks cool. I've smudged it up. I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty good. So you push it down from up there. And look, it looks just like a watch. A wrist watch even. Okay, scooch that over. Make it look good for the camera. See? Only now you know I've added pictures inside. Okay. So there's our double-decker bus. Our watch opens up. And like I said, I've gone over the inside of that with gold pen now. And then inside here, just a piece of Timmy ephemera. That's a playing card. I don't know where we got it from on one of our trips. I picked them up. They're gold. They allegedly have real gold on them, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. And look at that. And that paper is for a wooden clock, and he loves those too. He's a timepiece kind of guy. And that blue playing card reminded me of Ireland. We haven't been there 20 years now. Anyway. Ta-da! Photo montage. Y'all, it was a greeting card turned into a journal, and I am very happy with the results. I'm sure I would have been just as happy if it had been a greeting card. Anyway, He's going to love it, especially with the new photos in it. Well, they're not new photos. They're old photos. They're printed photos. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Love it. 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyway. 12, 3, 6, 9. I think I done that part right. Makes me happy. I hope he likes it. Well, I'm sure he will. He likes everything I do. Well, almost everything. You know, I don't dust right. I don't dust. That's what's wrong about that. I just don't do it. Anyway. More anyways. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget, #MasculineMay. Thanks for watching, and happy artin', y'all.